to the 2-minute drill with Jay Ham.
Give me time, we'll hit the touchdown here. 96, 18, 30. Hot, 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 hot.
Welcome to the debut of the 2-minute drill with Jay Han. Praying in the Spirit versus speaking in tongues. Are they the same thing? And the short answer, in my opinion, no. Paul instructs all believers to pray in the Spirit always. Not only to pray without ceasing, but he says all believers should always pray in the Spirit with all kinds of prayers and requests. Again, in Romans 8, he says sometimes your spirit speaks with groanings and utterings that you cannot discern in the human understanding. It shows a difference between praying from your spirit and praying in the mind. It also says when you don't know what to pray for yourself, the Spirit Himself will make intercession for you. And when that comes out, you don't always understand that. That's praying in the Spirit. And I'll prove that it's different than speaking in tongues, because speaking in tongues is one of the 9 gifts of the Holy Spirit that are listed that Paul also writes. And Paul also has a passage that says, do all prophesy? It even says, do all speak in tongues? And the answers to all these questions are no. He makes the point we all have different gifts. So if we all have different gifts, and not all can speak in tongues, then how can he in several different occasions encourage all believers to pray in the Spirit with the groanings and utterings that cannot be understood by human words? There's your proof right there that praying in the Spirit is actually different than speaking in tongues. Speaking in tongues always comes with an interpretation, and it's always when you're speaking in a literal other language, and that message will eventually or even immediately be interpreted by somebody else in the other language. Just like when you saw the Holy Spirit fall at Pentecost, each man heard them speaking in their own language. It has to do with human languages. It's a gift to speak to foreigners about the Holy Spirit is what the gift is, versus praying in the Spirit, which the devil doesn't want you to do. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week. Always pray in the Spirit.
See you next week on the 2-minute drill with Jay Ham.
He could go all the way.